Hey folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with another edition of Finding Winners MLB edition for a Tuesday, May 11th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your Ruby Tuesday. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you're watching on a mobile device, and join us every Thursday now, 1 p.m. happy hour, live show, live stream right here on our YouTube channel. All right, let's go to let's find some winners today in Major League Baseball. And before we do, we always look at the money management point of view perspective on what we should be looking for today, how we're going to be wagering our selections. In fact, I always recommend, if we're in a bull market, limit your selections to either 1 to 3 units, and if we are in a neutral market, then fire away between 4 and 5 units. And always, it's always say, buy low, sell high. And you don't want to be buying at the top, and you don't want to be paying at the top in a bull market, because you just don't know, right? We don't know when the reversal is going to happen. And if you look at Major League Baseball right now, I've been saying this for a while now, we're going to go up in favorites. And sure enough, look at this. We had a crazy beginning of all the underdogs winning right until April 23rd. Then the favorites start reversals. And, if you look at if you compare the sports, NHL, MLB, the apples, football, and basketball, oranges, right? The spread sports versus the money line sports. And if we compare this to the NHL is hitting around 63%, and we're at 53%. So we got a little bit of work to do. And this is why I'm looking for favorites. But we're really in a bull market the last 7 days, 58.4, 67.3 in the last 3 days. So, be careful. If you're going to be wagering on the side, I'd recommend 1 to 3 units. And if you're going to be betting on the total, fire away. We are in a neutral market, so with the over-unders. In fact, 4-1 yesterday. We had that cancellation in Colorado. 8-5 on Sunday. 12-3. That was something, on the Saturday or so. No, that was, Saturday, and then Friday night, 9-6. But Sunday and Monday, the unders are coming in. And you know what? The totals in baseball have been very consistent to the over-under. It's just the favorites and the underdogs on that crazy run, right? All right, let's take a look at the stats and trends from our 80% club. And, this is, I'm trying to throw things off for you a bit, just, a little different wrinkle. And I'm going to give you guys some of the top trends we have here. And again, they're not the best. There's 2 types of trends. Always remember that. If you're new to the sports betting, there's 2 types of trends: team trends and league system trends. League system trend is where you want to put more of your emphasis on. That's when every team's in a certain situation. For example, here, this is a team trend on the Tampa Bay Rays. When the Tampa Bay Rays are a 120 to 140 home underdog, totals between 7.5 and 8.5 the last 4 years, 11-1 to the under, which is good for a team trend, but it's even better if it was a league system trend with any team is a 120 to 140 home underdog, total 7.5 to 8.5. You see the difference right there between the team and the league, and how much weight the league system trend carries compared to a team trend. But you know what? Team trends are, it's like, Sheldon did with the Big Bang Theory, right? Fun with flags. This is fun with trends. And, take it with a grain of salt type thing. All right, so we do have a lot of trends on the under in Tampa Bay. Astros 10-1 as a 160-180 home favorite when they coming off a loss in Game 1 of a series the last 6 years. So when the Houston Astros are a 160 to 180 home dog or a home favorite, and they're coming off a loss in Game 1 of a series the last 6 years, 10-1 in their next game. So that's pretty solid for the Houston Astros. And today, where are they? 173 as a favorite. And let me see here. Boston Red Sox, 9-1 as a 120-140 home favorite versus non-division foes the last 4 years. And the Bull Sox, who are they facing? I thought it was somebody out west. Yeah, Oakland. They're facing the Oakland Athletics. New York Mets, in the month of May, the last 2 years when they're home team, 12-2 straight up. So the Mets are 12-2 as a home team the last 2 years in the month of May, which is pretty good. The over, 11-2 for the Boston Red Sox as a home team, coming off a 3-run loss in their last game. So Boston coming off a 3-run loss in their last game. I thought they, let me see here. I'm not sure about that trend. And this is what happens. Sometimes you get these situations where you can't trust the computer, right? And, we have thousands of trends, and we'd love to be accurate on every one of them. But let me see here. Boston coming, 4-1. Okay. I'll give credit to the computer this time. That's a nice one right there. So the over is 11-2 for the Boston Red Sox as a home team, coming off a 3-run loss in their last 2 years. So pretty solid over. And it's Fenway Park, right? You never know. Man, Giants are looking good. 16-3 as a 140, 160 home favorite when the total 7.5 to 8.5 last 3 years. So looking good again tonight. And tonight they have it's afternoon. Actually, it's an afternoon game against the Texas Rangers. Also, Tampa Bay, another under trend. I'm going to show you some stuff on the Tampa Bay Rays. I think the under is where you want to lead in that game. They don't hit lefties well. And we'll finish off with this one. The team that needs a win badly, the Kansas City Royals. 10-2 as a 120 to 140 road favorite after a division game the last 5 years. And the Royals are now on a 8-game losing slide. So they need a big win in a big fashion. And we'll see if they get a run done today. And one more here. I saw this one here is pretty good. Milwaukee Brewers, 14-3 straight up as a home team, coming off a game where they allowed only 1 run against the last 2 years, 82.35%. That's a solid play on the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, so I talked about some of the matchups here. Now, the one thing I love about baseball, it's like NFL football. NFL football, you get ready for another week, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3. How do you get ready in baseball for that type of mentality as a sports bettor, right? Series. I find every series carries over to a different mindset. You have different aspects of the game coming in. You got division play. It's just there's so much situational circumstances surrounding series plays compared to NFL on the weekend, right? NFL's king. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Can't put makeup on a pig. NFL's king. NFL is number one, and we can learn from the NFL in some aspects, right? But in baseball, I find the how do you change your mindset from weekend to weekend type thing, or series to series. And in the one thing with baseball, you get a 2-game series, a 3-game series, and a 4-game series. And sometimes maybe if you get a doubleheader in there, then you might get a 5-game, but that's very, very rare. All right, so knowing we're going into a new series, a lot of teams, right? Only 4 games yesterday. One got canceled, 4 or 5 or something like that. In fact, let me take a look at the SBI just so I know for sure. Let me see. Yesterday, 5 games. Okay, that one. There were 6 scheduled, but only one got canceled. Colorado. Hey, that time of year. But let's take a look at. We're going to take a look at how teams do in the first game of a series. How teams do against lefties. That's one thing I always like to keep track. There's always 1 or 2 teams in the Major League Baseball that never do well against the lefties. I don't know what it is, but we'll take a look at that today. In fact, let's see in the last 2 weeks who's been the best favorites. We'll do that. Let's go the last 2 weeks. So today what is today's date? The 11th. So we'll go back to the 27th of April. 27th of April to May 10th. We'll go back to yesterday's games. And let's see who've been the best favorites the last 2 weeks in Major League Baseball. And we'll see if we can get any angles going into today. So Yankees 9-3. Yankees are starting to heat up a bit. They had a big series. They needed that win on Sunday to win the series against the Nationals, and they got it done. Right now they're going against a team that owned them. 5-2. The Tampa Bay Rays are 5-2 in the last 7 games against the Yankees, and it's for whatever reason it is. I don't know if it's cash or Boone or whatever, but it's almost like a hockey series, almost like the old Nordiques and Montreal Canadiens, right? Old rivalry games, old Colorado and Detroit. But the Yankees and Tampa Bay have a good series going, and it's in Tropicana Field, so should be a good one. The only thing is, it's always better when it's at Yankee Stadium. You get the Yankee faithful there, and they're always fun to watch. Boston 6, okay. So we're just looking at favorites. Look at Toronto. They've only been a favorite twice. These, even though we're looking at records, the one thing I'm noticing is value. If you follow the Raymond Report, I'm always talking about value, percentage play, and the cycles. Look at this. In the last 2 weeks, Toronto's only been a favorite twice. Something to keep an eye on, right, for value. And they're not a bad team. I don't know if they're above 500 in the, let me see here, 17-6. Yeah, they're a B-type team in the Raymond Report. So I only bet on B and C-type teams. And if you're new to the Raymond Report, I grade my teams in A, B, or C. A meaning, the top 10%, right? The going back to Urban Meyer's book, the 10-80-10 club. 10% of your teams in the league are elite, 80% are regular, and 10% are disinterested. It goes to players. Actually, he's talking about players, but I use the same type of concept, but I go A-type teams are 60 or above or higher. Those are your alpha-type teams. Your B-type teams, those are your teams. They don't know if they're going to be an alpha or Charlie right now, or like a bottom dweller. So they're in the 50 to 59.9% class. And then your C-type teams, your bottom dwellers, right? Teams that are just struggling and they're in and out of the B club, some of them. But what I'm looking for is the A, B, and C-type teams. And I only bet on A and B-type teams when it comes to sides. Very rare occasion I'll bet on the C-type team. If there's a special rule, right? I'll put an asterisk and totals. I'll bet on totals on C-type teams. Minnesota as a favorite, 9-2. 9-2 to the over as a favorite the last 2 weeks. Chicago White Sox, 5-2. They got to turn it around, right? They went and got Tony La Russa. And, they're getting some injuries, but, they're still favored to win that division with the, let me see here, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Chicago. They've been the disappointment so far in the American League Central. In fact, I'm just going to bring up the standings right here. And Kansas City, man, they're on a bad slide right now. So Chicago, even though they're in first place, 19-13, only one game behind Cleveland. Kansas City, 3.5. The whole division is, aside from Detroit, if Minnesota can go on a run, they can still have a shot of winning the division. Only 7 games behind, but it's, as Yogi Berra would say, it's getting late early, right? So Chicago White Sox, still the, Cleveland, watch out for Cleveland. If Kansas City didn't go on that, now they planted the seed of doubt, right? Kansas City with that 8-game losing streak, now they planted that seed of doubt, and now it's going to be tough to win the public's confidence in getting that. So right now it's looking like White Sox and Cleveland, but I don't know, Minnesota, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, give them the month of May here and early June to see if they can turn it around before the All-Star break, because they do have the hitting. It's just they gotta get the middle relief pitching going. They got some good starters in Barrios and Kenta Maeda, but that middle relief, and you can't get Colome in the 8th inning. You got to use him just for the ninth. It's the same thing in Tampa Bay. They're using Castillo way too much in the 8th sometimes, and you've seen it in the last couple of games. He's only been coming in the 9th. But you got to manage your closers, man. You really got to manage your closers, and you can't be overworking them in May. All right, Kansas City 1-2, Cleveland 4-1. Cleveland's coming along as a favorite, right? So the thing is, we're looking for value as a favorite, and who you can trust. Can I trust this team as a favorite? Sometimes you need that one win to get back on a betting track, and you need to go to the Old Faithful, right? That betting favorite that you can trust right now. And we're trying to see who that team is. Texas only been a favorite 3 times. Atlanta 7-4. We'll see if they're going to turn it around here a bit. Miami 5-2 is a favorite. Still a C-type team. New York Mets. Now, Mets, we'll see now if they're going to be for real. They're on a pretty good run right now in their last 2 weeks, 6-3. And a lot of unders, right? They played unders. St. Louis, but they got to play somebody. They've been beaten. Look who they've been beating. They've been beating, Colorado and Pittsburgh. They had the Mets in there, so we'll give them credit on that. They did beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Hey, little song right there. Little song and dance. LA Dodgers, well, you know what? I got a feeling these are your perfect fade opportunity. I got a feeling this is not going to go well. I know they're waiting for Bellinger, and Trevor Bauer chirped something last week. They're showing cracks in the armor right now. I think Dodgers are a fade. I think this is the team. They're going to always be the favorite. If I look at their games, I think they've been a favorite in every game but one. And, they're the type of team that people are going to say, oh, they're going to turn it around. It's like the alcoholic who says, he's quit drinking for today, But I think, people are going to say, oh, they're going to turn it around. Oh, Bellinger's coming back. Oh, Buehler's going to have a good outing. Bauer, until they start proving it. Bill Parcells, here's my Bill. I should have a prop here, my Bill Parcells face that comes on. You are what your record says you are in the last 2 weeks, and you're 3-8. And 7-3 to 1 as a favorite the last 2 weeks, right? Arizona 4-1. I like this Arizona team. I don't know what it is with these guys, but it's that uncomfortable. I call it the uncomfortable pick. There's about 2-3 teams that I call the uncomfortable teams that when you take them, you don't even want to watch the game. You just want to watch the box score at the end in the morning, right? And you're hoping they come out and they cash for you. That's Arizona. Arizona was one of them. Seattle, San Francisco, we set it on early. If you've been watching this channel since the beginning, we've been high on San Francisco. We said, you know what? They're going to just close your eyes and then just press enter because they'll cash you a ticket, right? Well, what did I say one day? They're like the Tooth Fairy. You go to bed and there's money under your pillow in the morning, right? That's San Francisco right there. All right, there you go. There you have it. I always like that joke. I don't know what it is. It's funny. Let's go back to underdogs. Let's see who's been underdogs, the best underdogs the last couple of weeks, going back to the 27th. And who have been the best dogs? I got to fill in Toronto. Yeah, look at that. The Toronto Blue Jays, 6-4, 8-2. Hey, man, you know what? I know I'm going to sound like a homer here being from Canada, but if they can just get their pitching straightened out, the starting rotation, they're not a bad team. They are not a bad team, and they're only, 3.5 games out of the division. Boston Red Sox. Boston's a nice team, but I wonder if they're going to be able to keep it up. Yankees are starting to heat up. Tampa Bay, we know this is a tough division. Aside from Baltimore, which even Baltimore has looked good at some point, 16-19 on the year. Talk about, it's probably the toughest division in baseball when you look at the standings. The National League West, American League West, last place team is the Angels. They're only 4 games behind. Baltimore is only 5.5 games behind. And you're looking at the Washington Nationals. This is what you want. If you're a baseball fan and you're a fan of, say, like the Braves or the Blue Jays, you don't want the division to be wrapped up early, right? You want to know that your team has a shot to win a division. Pittsburgh Pirates 6.5 out of the Central, and Arizona, Colorado 8.5. So a lot of tight races. I don't see any double digits yet. So we don't have any double digits teams. Games behind yet, so that's a good thing, right? Keeps the interest of baseball fans, and you want good pennant races, right? You want good division races, good pennant races. Baltimore is an under, 3-10 to the under. Tampa Bay 4-3 is an under, 7 times the last 2 weeks as an underdog, so a lot of value there. Kansas City, they're better as a favorite, not as you don't support them as an underdog, but you might look at the over though, 7-2 to the over. Detroit 7-3 to the over, but 3-7 as a dog. Seattle 4-5, 6-3 to the over. When I do these searches for underdogs, I always find there's more value in the total than the size, right? There's only 1 or 2 teams that has a winning record. In fact, when you scroll down, look at the teams with a winning record. San Diego, never been a dog the last 2 weeks. Interesting. Fun fact, right? Fun fact, Arizona 1-7. Dodgers 0-1. That was against Milwaukee. Okay. San Francisco 4-5 as a dog. 8-1 to the over. That's the thing, right? Keep an eye out on these teams that win as an underdog. Maybe the total is where you want to lean. Look at the over, right? Let me see here. Pittsburgh 2-8, 3-5. Chicago, see again, 7-2 to the over. See where I'm going here? This is why I do these finding winners editions, because these are things that I call them indicators that normally they'll pop up. You don't see it right instantly, but then once you get 2 or 3 or 4 that string along, then you start saying, you connect the dots, and then the old light bulb goes off in the head, right? It's like, bing, maybe the over. All right, 1-6 to the under, 5-3. Look, Philly, 5-3, 4-4 to the over/under. Let me see here, 7-4, 3-6 for Texas. Now, what did I say here? 2. Where was it down here? 6-3. Yeah, Colorado. No. Hang on, where did I see 8-1, 4-5 San Fran, right? I'm looking for the good teams. Miami 0-5, Houston 1-2, only been an underdog 3 times. Texas 3-8 to the Texas. You know what? Another uncomfortable type feeling pick, right? Right there, the Texas Rangers as a dog, 11 times as an underdog in the last 2 weeks. Value. That's what you're looking for when you're making your picks. 7-3. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of overs, right? A lot of overs to the underdogs. All right. One last thing, and then we're going to go to the first game of a series, try to find some value in that. We're going to go home teams. Again, we'll do any teams. We'll do any teams against lefties. Let's see which, since we'll do the last 2 weeks, and then we'll do from the beginning of the year. All right, now you know what? Okay, yeah, so the last 2 weeks, Baltimore 4-2 versus lefty. Wow, Tampa Bay 5-1 against left-handed pitchers. Really surprising. I thought it'd be worse than that. I really did. Maybe it's at home. They're not good against lefties. All right. That's good to know, right? That's why you do these finding winners research. So this way, because you get these misconceptions, right? That, for some reason, I was doing my handicapping this morning, and I saw Tampa Bay wasn't really good as a home team as a versus lefties. I'll show you that in a second right here. So if you go to the Raymond Report, go to MLB, and you go to Tampa Bay, not Tampa Bay. I keep wanting to say Tampa Bay now because of Tom Brady. He's messing me up here with his Super Bowl rings at Tom Brady. Here we go. All right, down here, lefties. Look at that, 2-6 and 2-6 to the over at home, but it's at home. So when Tampa Bay's at home, but overall you can see they've done pretty well against lefties, right? Was it 5-1? 5-1. Yeah, but it's on the road. We'll see how they do at home. 5-3, 1-4. LA Angels 1-4 against lefties. Texas Rangers 6-1 against lefties since the beginning of the year. Not bad. 6-1. Who else has been a good left-handed? And we're looking for the opposite too, right? Teams that aren't good. Arizona 0-4 against lefties. Now, am I doing just at home teams here? Come on, they've faced more than 4 lefties. That can be, maybe I'm just doing the last 2 weeks here. Yeah, last 2 weeks. Okay, last 2 weeks. Let's do the beginning of the year. Let's go to the beginning of the year. We'll go April 1st till now against lefties, and let's see who we got. Who's who in the zoo? All right, Yankees 3-8 to the under versus lefties, and they got a lefty tonight. I think the under might be worth a look. Toronto 6-3, Baltimore 8-8, 7-4, 6-3, White Sox. Kansas City 10-1 to the under. Kansas City Royals versus lefties, and who they got tonight? They're playing Detroit, a lefty, Matthew Boyd. So hey, finding winners here on the Rain Report, right? That's the name of the show. Look at Oakland, 15-5 against Southpaws. Seattle 4-6. Angels 3-10. Wow, not good. Hey, not good. Brady Hoax, not good. 10-11, 6-6. 4-11 to the under. Washington. Mental note, Mets. Yeah, but Mets, everything's going under for the Mets. 6-3. 12-5, San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco treat. Arizona 10-2-1 to the over against Southpaws. Wow, interesting stuff. Okay, let's take a look at home teams. Home teams against lefties, and you know the dynamics of each park is different, right? So we'll see if there's any value in this thing. Yeah, look at Baltimore versus lefties at home at Camden Yards, 1-9. Ouch. All right, Tampa Bay 5-2 against lefties. Now, why did this say 6-2 here versus left-handed pitchers? I'll have to get that fixed. So hey, we're doing a little bit of quality control as well. So let me see here. Oh, see, there's a righties. That's not okay. So there we go. We might. Maybe I'm doing righties here, not lefties. Hang on here. Home teams versus lefties. Nope. All right. You know what? Let me go back to my other database here. I'll have to get that one fixed. Let's go to the database here. And let's do MLB. This should be better. All right. Home teams versus left-handed pitcher. All right, I know I see it. There it is. And this season. Current season. Survey says. All right, there we go. We're better here. Should have used this in the first place. All right, Yankees at home, 2-4 versus lefties. Boston 4-4. Toronto 3-1 versus lefties at home. Baltimore 4-4. Tampa Bay 2-5 versus lefties. 2-5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 2-5 versus lefties. Chicago White Sox 0-3 to the under. Kansas City, we always said that, to the under, 1-6. Cleveland 1-6 against lefties. 10-4 for Oakland at home against lefties. And let me see here. LA Angels 7-1 to the over versus left-handed pitchers. Let me see here. Philadelphia 5-3. Washington 3-8 against to the under. New York Mets are 4-1 versus lefties at home. Chicago Cubs 7-3 at home against Southpaws. Cincinnati 4-1 to the over. San Francisco 7-1 versus lefties. Colorado for a losing team, 5-1 against left-handed pitchers at home at Coors Field. Interesting stat right there. How about road teams? Who's got the best road teams versus Southpaws? The best road teams. Oh, look at the Yankees. 4-1 and 1-4 to the under. So I'm really looking at that under game tonight. Tampa Bay, New York. Boston 3-0. Toronto 1-4 to the under. Tampa Bay 6-3 versus lefties on the road. Let me see here. White Sox 5-1 straight up and to the over. Kansas City 3-1, 0-4 to the under. Cleveland 6-4. You got Oakland 5-1 versus lefties on the road. So they just hit. I thought it was maybe the home, but no, they hit them well. They hit lefties well. Well, we saw that earlier, right? LA Angels, wow, on the road 0-5 versus left-handed pitchers. Not good. Not good at all. Let me see here. 1-3. 1-6 for the Mets on the road versus lefties. And they're at home tonight. And let me see what we got here. 4-2, 5-4. 0-7. Dodgers on the road against lefties. And they're at home tonight. So on the road, 0-7 against left-handed pitchers. Arizona 7-2-1 to the over. And Colorado 0-3 on the road versus lefties. But better at home, right? All right, so first game of a series. Let's do this. Let's go favorites. Who's the best team, the best favorite first game of a series this season? And let's see which team is the best. We got a lot of first games today, so we'll take a look at that right now. The Yankees 5-5 as a favorite first game of a series, home or away. All right, interesting. Boston 4-3, Toronto 2-2, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. But they're not a favorite. Minnesota 5-2, Chicago 1-6. So the White Sox. Now the White Sox, what's their situation here tonight? Chicago White Sox. All right, Minnesota, first game of a series. So yeah, so maybe the under might be worth a look here. And the White Sox 5-2 so far. Okay, nice indicator right there. Chicago White Sox, first game of a series, 1-6 to the under. And when you think about it. The coaching staff, they got to get scouting reports on these teams, right? And it takes maybe 2-3 games before the hitters start to adjust. Maybe that's why you're seeing some unders in the first game of the series. Maybe that's an angle you got to consider, right? Is which team has the probably the best pre-game scouting reports. I wish there was somewhere we can get some type of edge in that aspect. Who has the best scouting team? Major League Baseball teams will send scouts to another team prior to that series, right? Maybe that's an angle you got to consider when you're looking at these numbers. Maybe the Chicago White Sox, their scouts, when they pre-advanced game scouting, maybe they get a better angle on most scouts here. Look at that to the under, or they don't. It could be the opposite. They don't hit, so they're not they're not doing well. But they're 5-2, so they must be doing something well. Kansas City. Cleveland, Detroit. Look at Oakland, 7-1. Yeah, but see the teams that went on big winning streaks. You expect them to have some type of edge in that department. Angels 5-0 to the over as a favorite first game of the series, but they're playing the second game of the series. Texas, Atlanta. Atlanta's playing the first game of the series. Are they a favorite? Yeah, they're a favorite against Toronto, but they still looks like Bryce Wilson might go for Atlanta. So I don't know if you want to against Toronto. I don't think I want to touch that one. Philadelphia, 3-0, first game of a series. That's funny. Only been favorite 3 times in the first game of a series. That's an interesting fun fact right there. Houston, 6-4. Yeah, it was, let me see here. First game of a series. Yeah, last night they lost to the Angels, so that's first game of a series, so that's a loss right there. That's where they got that 4. St. Louis, 4-1. Favorite first game of a series, and the Cardinals, they're on the road to Milwaukee. What's Milwaukee's record? 2-4, but they're not a favorite. Yeah, they are a favorite. 128, but they're only 2-4. So be careful on that one. And San Francisco to the under, so they're playing the second game of the series today, and it's a day game. Maybe I'll check that out before we go. Check their record on a day game. San Diego, first game of the series, favorite, 2-7 to the under, and San Diego plays. Let me see here. They're on the road once in Coors Field. Yeah, so be careful there. That's Coors, right? So I want to check this out. I want to see favorites. So San Francisco's a favorite. San Francisco, second game of a series, and it's a day game. So let's check that out this season. Let's see how teams have done this year in that situation. during a day game. All right. So we're looking at favorites, second game of a series during a day game. Survey says 19 and oh, look at this to the under. 11, 23 and 2 to the under. So folks, Texas, San Diego. You got Logan Webb going today for the San Francisco Giant. He's 1-3, and let me see here. Yeah, he got rocked in his last outing in Colorado, but prior to that, he was giving us some long innings, 6 innings, but he's getting hit a lot. Yeah, he's got 3 hits last outing, only lasted 3 2/3, and then he went 6 innings, got hit, 8 hits against San Diego, and then Miami. Oh, he did well against Miami, 3 hits, no runs. Philadelphia, only 4 innings. It's a bit tough, though. It's a bit tough. Who's he facing? What's the pitcher here? He's facing Jordan Lyles. Now, Jordan Lyles is getting touched up a bit, too. Man, look at his ERA the last 2 games. 7.09 against Minnesota, 7.39. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to, but you know what? It's, you say that, and the next thing you know, it's a 2-1 game, right? So, situational handicapping, but I probably won't play the under because that was, I played the under in that game yesterday, and, I'm a law of average guy, so I don't know if I want to go to the well too many times. Let me see if they come off an under, see what the record is. So let me see, coming off a game that went under. Coming off 1 under. Let's see what the record is. 2-11 and 1. Wow. All right. What if it's coming off a win, a home win, and that was a. Let me see here. Coming off a win. Where's my win? I'm good here somewhere. All right, coming off a win right here. Favorite second game of the series during the day game, coming off a win. See, 9 and 2, and then 10 and 10. Wow, that's a bit of a difference right there. And what's the total? 8. Let's see what the total's 8. Three, 9 and 1 to the under. All right. So a lot of the indicators pointing towards the under today, San Fran and Texas. All right, folks. There's your Finding Winners edition for a Tuesday, Ruby Tuesday, May 11th. Don't forget, join us live every Thursday for happy hour, 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. here on our YouTube channel. And you can find my best bets, my top plays each and every day right here at atsstats.com. Or if you go to bullpenpicks.com, just go to bullpenpicks.com. In fact, let me bring that up right here. You can follow my picks for free each and every day right here at bullpenpicks.com. Go to bullpenpicks.com, hit on the, once you log in, once we get all these ads closed off, go to most followed, look for the old Expo logo, that's me, Ron Raymond. Follow my picks, and you can see all my plays for free each and every day right here at bullpenpicks.com. Shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another edition of Finding Winners. Cheers.